Good morning. My name is Jimmy Scott, pastoral care minister here at Unity of Phoenix. It's a pleasure to welcome you here this morning. We're looking forward to a fantastic service this morning. Unity is a part of a worldwide organization called Unity, and it is based on positive, practical Christianity. We believe not in original sin, but we believe in original virtue, that every person is created in and after the image of God. So having that in mind, let's take our mission statement together. Unity of Phoenix is a loving spiritual community that welcomes all people and honors all paths to God. We are dedicated to transforming lives by inspiring and awakening individuals to discover God's Spirit within them.
Right now, we just want you to lay things aside for a moment, get yourself centered and relaxed and prepared for a time of prayer and meditation, and to prepare us for that sacred experience. Let us now sing, Surely the Presence.
Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel God's mighty power and God's grace. I can feel the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place.
So as we begin this time of prayer and meditation together this morning, I want to encourage you to get comfortable in your seat. To take a deep, relaxing, cleansing breath. And then ever so slowly and ever so gently, begin to slow your mind down just by temporarily setting aside all of the busyness and all of the activities of your day. Just clearing your mind and becoming fully present to this current moment. I'm often reminded of one of Khalil Gibran's profoundest statements. He said, "In all actuality, the only moment that is guaranteed to us is the present moment." And from that, we glean the reality that it's good to be appreciative of right now. To be appreciative of all that is in this current moment. And then allow that to be the foundation for setting our vision for each consecutive moment. So again, take a deep, relaxing breath. Just allow your mind to quiet down. Mentally travel that short distance from the head to the heart. And as you reach that quiet space, become open and receptive to peace, to calmness, to serenity. As we think about the things that weigh heavily on our hearts and minds, this morning we pray for the wisdom and the guidance and the understanding to know that all is well, no matter where we are and no matter what we are going through. We know that truth not just for ourselves, but for all the people who have called or written this ministry in need of prayer. We hold the highest possible vision for their well-being and for the well-being of this planet that we live upon. We give thanks in advance for all the rich blessings to come. We give thanks for family and for friendships, for abundance and prosperity, for love and for laughter, and for joyfulness and playfulness, all the riches of life. We give thanks in the name and through the nature of the living Christ. And so it is, and amen.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And leave us not in temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory
Good morning again, everyone. Well, I didn't introduce myself, but my name is Richard Mirage, and I'm the lead minister here at Unity of Phoenix. Also, a shout out to everybody who watches us online. Thanks for tuning in. So several centuries ago, the Pope made a decree that all the Jewish people living in Italy would either have to leave or convert to Catholicism. And there was a huge outcry by the Jewish community. So the Pope made a deal. He offered a deal, and he said, we will have a religious debate. And if the Jewish leader of the religious from this debate wins, then the Jewish people can stay in Italy. And if I win, then they will either have to leave or all convert to Catholicism. So the Jewish people picked a very wise elderly rabbi to represent him in the debate. Now the challenge was that the rabbi didn't speak Italian and the Pope didn't speak Yiddish, so they decided that they would have a silent debate. So the Pope sat across, right directly across from the rabbi, and they started the debate. So the Pope started by raising 3 fingers in the air, and then the rabbi countered by raising 1 finger. And then the Pope circled his hand around his head, and then the rabbi responded by pointing to the ground in front of him. And then the Pope brought out a wafer and a chalice of wine, and then the rabbi countered by bringing out an apple. And then the Pope got up, acknowledged that he was beaten and defeated, claimed that, said that the rabbi won, and the Jewish people could stay in Italy and they didn't have to convert to Catholicism. So later that day, the cardinals got together with the Pope to find out what happened. And the Pope said, well, first, I held out 3 fingers to represent the Trinity, and then he held out 1 finger, and that reminded me that there is only one God that is common between our beliefs. And then I did a circle around my head to say that God is all around us, and he pointed to the ground, symbolizing that God is right here and right now. And then I brought out the wafer and the wine, representing that God absolves us of all of our sins. And then he brought out an apple, reminding me of the original sin. So he clearly bested me at every turn, and I had to concede. So meanwhile, the Jewish community got together with a rabbi to discuss what happened and how he won. And so they said, so how'd you win? He said, I don't have a clue. He said, first, he held up 3 fingers, telling me we had 3 days to get out of Italy. So I gave him the finger. And then he said that the whole country had to be cleared of the Jews. And I said, no, we're staying right here. And then what happened, a woman asked. He said, I have no idea. Suddenly, he takes out his lunch, so I took out mine. That's a horrible joke. So how many people have ever been a little confused about your spiritual life, about anything spiritual, about your spiritual beliefs or how to use your spiritual practices? You know, today we're going to look at some spiritual beliefs and practices and principles that are a little confusing and sometimes a little hard to understand. And those are specifically the Beatitudes. And as you know, the Beatitudes are the first 8 statements that open Jesus' famous Sermon on the Mount. And these 8 statements, the Beatitudes, are really considered to be the generalization of the spiritual teachings of Jesus. But when you read them, sometimes they can be a bit confusing and hard to understand. They begin with phrases like, blessed are the poor in spirit. Blessed are those who mourn. Blessed are the meek. Blessed are those who persecuted. You know, it is blessed to be poor. It's in spirit. It's blessed to mourn. It's blessed to be meek. It's blessed to be persecuted. If that's what it takes to be blessed, I don't want to really be that blessed. I like a little short of that, just a little. You know, so how many people have ever been a little confused or didn't quite understand the Beatitudes and how they're written? Anybody? Okay, so a number of us. Because when you read it, it sounds like blessed are the wimpy and the doormats and the soft. I mean, it doesn't sound appealing. It sounds like everything that's hard is blessed. You know, why don't they just add, blessed are the depressed and the unemployed and the uncoordinated. Blessed are those with love handles and those who can't program their VCRs and those who are lactose intolerant. Those who can't parallel park or sing off key. It sounds to me like blessed are all the really hard things. And what's confusing of that, because that's supposed to be the summary of Jesus' teachings, but Jesus also said some other things. It's confusing to me because Jesus also said he came that we may have life and have it more abundantly. He came that his joy may be in us and our joy may be complete. He also said that whatever you ask in prayer, believe that you have received it and it will be yours. He said, you shall do the things that I do and even greater things than these. That you are the light of the world. That it is the Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. These things to me sound more empowering. They sound more exciting. They sound more energizing and far more uplifting. How many people love it when you are at your best, when you're on your game and things are going great for you? How many people? We love it when we're at our best. We love it when we're living life from our power place. When we're feeling in charge, in control, and on top of things. And so that's why the Beatitudes scare us a bit. Because these things don't sound like they leave us in those areas. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. They can be a little bit confusing when you hear the Beatitudes. First, listen to the difference in tone. Like, the 10 Commandments are a set of beliefs about spiritual law, and so are the Beatitudes. But look at the difference in the tone. Thou shalt not, versus blessed are you who are. The Beatitudes are a lot more softer. They're not about doing, they're actually about being. They're not about the outer rules and actions, they're about our inner states of mind. They're not about actions, they're about attitudes. There is something deeper and more profound about the Beatitudes. And so that can be a little confusing for us. And what's the scariest about the Beatitudes? It's not just that they're inner attitudes that we need to attain, but it's that those attitudes are calling us to go deeper and to be more vulnerable. The Beatitudes scare us because they talk about inviting us to let go at a much deeper level and to go deeper into ourselves, to go deeper into our hearts, to go deeper into our feelings, to go deeper into God, to go deeper into the infinite. And for many of us, we don't like to be vulnerable. Being vulnerable scares us. We would rather not do that. And so Jesus is inviting us to open our hearts to God in a way that we haven't opened it before, to allow us to go deeper in a way we haven't gone before. And the fact is, while being vulnerable scares us all, that when those rare times we've been vulnerable, don't you feel a little more closer and connected to someone when you're more vulnerable? Don't you feel like there's a deeper bond, there's a common connection, you feel a level of closeness, you know each other, and you feel more known when we are vulnerable? We have more to give, more to share, more to connect on. There's something powerful and amazing that happens when we're vulnerable, but we still don't want to do it. We would rather do something hard than be more vulnerable, than be more open, than go a little bit deeper. And here's the deal, is we can use all of our outer powers, but we will only scratch the surface of the depth of the fullness of life we can experience if we do that, trying to do it on our own. How many people know there's still more in you, that there's so much more life that you know that's available you haven't tapped into? I bet you all of us know that. And the truth is, if we aren't willing to go deeper, we're never going to experience it. We can only go so far playing our human games and playing the old methods that have gotten us this far. If we want a richer and deeper and more fulfilling life, we have to be willing to go deeper. Blessed are the poor in spirit. To be poor in spirit means to empty yourself of your human pride, to empty yourself of the need to be in control, to empty yourself of all the things that are holding you back from feeling the fullness of God, to letting go of the limiting ideas, letting go of the belief that you've got to know it all, you've got to have the perfect plan, is to be able to let all that stuff go. And the fact is that our ego does not want to let go of control. Our ego, even when we're weak, our ego wants to stay tough and keep hanging on when our spirit is saying, just let go. Just relax. Just open up and trust me and let go. The ego wants to keep in control. The ego beatitudes would be more like this. Blessed are the strong and powerful, because they will always get what they want. Blessed are those who are in control and take charge, for they will be happy and secure. We don't want the blessed are those who are vulnerable. We don't want blessed are those, who are willing to let go, who are poor in spirit, who are willing to empty themselves. And yet that's what our soul are calling us to. If we want to go a little bit deeper in life, we've got to be willing to be vulnerable. We've got to be willing to let go. And we've got to be willing to go deeper. Everybody remember the story of the rich young man who came to Jesus and he wanted to follow Jesus. He wanted a more spiritual life. And Jesus told him, well, go sell all your possessions and then give them to the poor, and then you can come follow me. And then it said that he turned away sorrowfully because he had great possessions. Now, Jesus didn't mean that he had to be poor. He was speaking about that this man was possessed by things mentally, that he had so many things that were possessing his mind that he wasn't really free to be fully present to follow a spiritual path. So it's not about not having wealth, it's about letting go of the things the mental baggage, the beliefs and the ideas that we hold on to that stop us from feeling a deeper connection to God. I ask you, what in your life are you holding on to that is holding you back from feeling the presence and the power of God? What is it time for you to release and let go, to allow yourself to feel God's peace, to feel a deeper connection and an awareness of God? One of the things, like if you really look at all the different spiritual practices and so many areas, that it tells over and over again that if you want your life to get better, you've got to be willing to let go. You got to be willing to surrender. You got to be willing to be vulnerable. Remember AA, the first 3 steps in AA is I am powerless. I know there's a higher power, and I am willing to turn my life over to a higher power. It is about letting go. It is about being poor in spirit and emptying ourselves of our humanness so that we can be open to a higher power, so we can be open to Spirit's guidance. In Buddhists, they call it the beginner's mind, meaning that the more we clear and empty our mind, the more our mind is open and present for what is going on now and open to greater inspiration and guidance. sometimes you hear the phrase, let go and let God, or surrender your life to God, is that all of this is about a process. And why is this process of letting go so important? It is because when we let go, there is a promise of something greater. Blessed are the poor in spirit. Blessed are those who can empty themselves of their will and desire, who really can let go of all of their human intellect and attachments, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. And the word heaven actually means expansion. So what it means is that when you are willing to let go of your humanness, you can expand the awareness of your spiritual potential. You can expand your capacity for love. You can expand your capacity for peace and joy and wisdom and understanding. You can expand your capacity for new ideas and new possibilities and new ways of seeing and new ways of living and new ways of being. My favorite book this year that I'm using is the book Letting Go by David Hawkins. Anybody read that book, Letting Go? Okay, me and that lady over there, that's cool. It's a really good book. Isn't that a fabulous book? But here's the thing. He says this, you could try anything you want. You can try and run and go here and attend whatever seminars. You could take whatever courses. You could do as many sweat lodges. You could do anything you want. But ultimately, he said, one practice universally is the most powerful thing for bringing more peace and more joy into your life. And he said it's about letting go. It is about surrendering. And he said it's not about doing it once. It's about doing it multiple times every day. He said that, the truth is we all live and move and have our being in God. That it is the Father's good pleasure to give us the kingdom. The only thing that stops us is the things that we are holding on to. The fears and the beliefs of lack and the sense of separation and our attachment. That the more we let go, the more we can literally let ourselves be present to the love and the peace and the inspiration and the goodness of God. So here's the practice for you. Anytime you get stuck, anytime you feel frustrated, disconnected, or unhappy, what I want you to do is just take a deep breath and just say, I am willing to let go. So let's do that together. Ready? Let's take a deep breath. I am willing to let go. I am willing to release all of my thoughts, fears, and concerns. Together, I am willing to release all my thoughts, fears, and concerns. Deep breath. And I am willing to open myself to the guidance and the wisdom of God. Together. And I am willing to open myself to the guidance and wisdom of God. Deep breath. I let go and I let God. Together. I let go and I let God. Deep breath. And you could do it in your own way, but I guarantee you, a regular practice of letting go is one of the most powerful things you can do. If you're having financial trouble and you start worrying, take a deep breath. I am willing to let go. If it is a health issue, take a deep breath. I am willing to let go. And just do a little practice of letting go consistently. That's why Paul said, I die daily. That's why David Hawkins said we have to practice letting go daily. The more we let go, the deeper we go into God. The deeper we go into peace. The deeper we go into allowing the wisdom and the inspiration and the goodness of God to rise forth in our lives. Two of the greatest people that surrendered their will fully to God was the Apostle Paul. Remember how Paul was angry? Paul was persecuting Christians, that he was blinded on the road to Damascus. And in that time of being blinded and not being able to see on the outer, he had to surrender fully. And he came out preaching the gospel and literally transformed the world because he was willing to fully surrender his will and his life, fully surrender to God, and his life was uplifted and transformed. Jesus said, it is not I, but the Father within who does the work. And he said, not my will, but thy will. It was showing that he consistently let go of his desires to allow his higher power to lead him and to lift him. So my question is for you, if you want your life to go deeper, if you want to experience more fulfillment, the question is, are you willing to be more vulnerable? Are you willing to let go? And are you willing to go deeper into God by being poor in spirit so that the kingdom of heaven in you can truly expand? And then the next one is about letting go and being vulnerable, even more profound. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. How many people have ever had something that was so devastating, that it was so painful, you just wanted to shut off and close your heart? Anybody? I think we've all had things. And the thing about human beings is that when we don't like pain. that when it hurts, we want to shut down. We want to close off. We want to curl up in the fetal position and crawl under the bed and never come back out. When we've had our heart broken in love, we don't want to love like that again because we don't want to get hurt like that again. That many of us, when pain comes, we don't want to feel it. We don't want to deal with it. We don't want to face it in any way, shape, or form because it hurts too much. But it says, blessed are they who mourn. Notice it doesn't say, blessed are those who pretend they're not hurting. It doesn't say, blessed are those who hide from their emotions. Blessed are those who shut down their feelings. Blessed are those who deny their pain. It doesn't say that. It said, blessed are those who mourn. Blessed are those who really face what they're feeling and acknowledge to themselves that they're hurting or they're sad or they're devastated. Blessed are those who are willing to acknowledge and feel and move through their pain. Do you know many of us have traumas in our lives that we have closed our hearts off to, that we have never fully grieved? Do you know both my parents died, and I mourn and grieve my parents, but you know what? It was interesting. Only 2 years ago, I realized I didn't fully grieve and mourn my grandfather's death. And I actually had to do work to mourn some of the pain of my grandfather's death and to get some closure. And he died like 30, 40 years ago. You don't have to raise your hand, but how many people in here know that there is something painful in your past that you haven't fully allowed yourself to feel, to grieve, to own, to acknowledge? And that energy holds in us and it blocks our sense of joy. And the question is, are you willing to go deeper into your pain to process it so you can be liberated from it? Because, one of the things is we don't like endings. We don't like endings. We want to skip the ending and just start a new beginning. But the truth is, if you don't process and grieve the ending, you can't have a really full and new beginning. We think because things end that there's something horrible to it. Like if my great job ends, that it's devastating. Or if a relationship ends, it's devastating. Yes, they are absolutely painful. But it's not the end of life. It is not the end of joy, and it's not the end of love. Sometimes we close it off that we don't want to process the pain, but we deny ourselves, more beauty, more joy, and more possibilities because we close off that area. Is this making sense, everyone? Okay, okay, thanks, because I wasn't quite sure for a second. When it's so quiet, am I talking to myself? Okay, okay. But this is a tough thing. It's not an easy thing, but it's an important thing. See, if we're going to keep living on the surface of life, then we can only go so far. But you've got to be willing to go deep. Are you willing to be poor of spirit and let go and let God? Surrender your will and need for control and just allow Spirit to lift you. And are you willing to go deeper into your pain, into your loss and your hurt? And it's all in you. You don't have to share it with anyone. It's, are you willing to be vulnerable and honest with you? And let that pain go to God. So I ask you, is there something in your life that you haven't fully owned that you know it's time for you to process? That you know it's time for you to feel? You know it's time for you to heal and release? You remember, and you know why it's important? You remember when the man who was born blind, one of the disciples said, why has this man been born blind? Is it something he did wrong or something his parents did wrong? And Jesus said, no, this has been done so that the glory of God could be made manifest in his life. Do you know in your most painful part of your life, the part you don't want to face, that has been done so the glory of God could be made manifest in your life? That are you willing in your most painful place to be open your heart to God and allow God to comfort you? To acknowledge the wound, the pain, the sadness, and let Spirit nurture and heal and comfort you to bring forth the glory of God, to bring forth more joy, more healing, more light. One of the things about healing is it does two things. One, when life is good, we don't like to surrender or let go. When life is good, sometimes pain can break us to a point of surrender that we finally let go. That sometimes the pain that we have is calling us to let go and to surrender and open our hearts to God. Also, the surrendering of the pain, what it does, it helps heal our heart back to wholeness, but not just heal us to wholeness, but it gives us a level of optimism, of hope, of knowing that there's still more love. There's still more life. There's still more joy. No matter how many times you felt as you've lost or failed or things haven't gone right or you've been hurt, that mourning and allowing ourselves to be comforted gives us an optimism, a hope, an excitement that there's more good stuff out there. There's more life to live. This blessed are the mourn is saying, don't let life stop you. Don't let your failure stop you. Feel it, process it, and let it uplift you and comfort you so you can get back out there and live. You are here to bring forth the glory of God. Don't let your pain and losses stop you. from being comforted and healed and uplifted so you can get out there and live and bring more light into this world. What I love about blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven, and blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. It says when you attain this consciousness of letting go, of surrendering and being vulnerable and going deeper, you will receive greater things. That the kingdom of heaven, that your spiritual life and the life of love will expand, and you will be comforted. Great things will happen, but you must be willing to be vulnerable. You must be willing to go deeper. You must be willing to feel more fully and to process all that you're going through and to give it to God. This priest and this pastor are holding up signs on the side of the road. And the sign says, "The end is near. Turn around now before it's too late." And they really want to be helpful holding this sign. The end is near. Turn around now before it's too late. And then this car comes zipping by, honks at them and says, "You bunch of religious freaks, just leave me alone." And the car zips by, goes around the curb, and then they hear screeching of tires, and they hear a big splash. And then the priest says to the pastor, he said, "Do you think we should change the sign and just say the bridge is out today?" I love that joke. Well, the end is not near, although the end of the talk is near. But the end is not near for us. But you know, the truth is, if we want to go deeper into our lives, if you want to feel more joy, that we can turn things around now. And how? It is by being willing to be poor in spirit, to empty ourselves, to do a regular practice of letting go and surrendering to God in all the areas where we feel stress, and to be willing to mourn, to feel the hurt and sadness, to give it to God and let ourselves be comforted. There is so much life available to us, but we must be willing to go deeper into life if we want a deeper and richer life. The Beatitudes seem simplistic. They seem soft and passage, but they're powerful. But they're only powerful if you are willing to go a bit deeper and be more vulnerable and to surrender yourself fully to the higher power in you. God bless you all.
There were times I remember I had to fight just to hold my head up. Those times when even my friends tried to make a fool of me. There were things that my heart looked at that they just couldn't see. Some said I was hopeless, a mind tangled in the night. But strong hearts just keep going. That is why I'm still standing here today. Come together, raise up your voices. This time my song of love and life won't go away. I'll sing forever here in the sunshine. I've lived to see the sun break through the dawn, and I'm so glad I'm standing here today. If you're lost in your troubles and the world just seems to forget you, if you remember sunshine even on your darkest days, just follow what your heart says and you'll find your way. Some said I was hopeless, a mind tangled in the night. But strong hearts just keep going. That is why I'm still standing here today. Come together, raise up your voices. This time my song of love and life won't go away. I'll sing forever here in the sunshine. I've lived to see the sun break through the dawn, and I'm so glad I'm standing here today. Voices. This time my song of love and life, it won't go away. I'll sing forever here in the sunshine. I've lived to see the sun break through the storm, and I'm so glad I'm standing here today. I've lived to see the sun break through the storm, and I'm so glad I'm standing here today.
The kids, you know, every one of us wants our life to be a little more fulfilling, and we want to go a little deeper. We know there's still more, and really the secret is about going deeper into your own self, going deeper into God. So I really encourage you this week, you know, to practice being a little more vulnerable with yourself, being a bit more vulnerable with God. Just let go deeper, and surrender yourself on a regular basis whenever you get fearful or stressed. You know, allow yourself to feel and mourn all of life so you can be comforted and uplifted and feel more whole, and so you can fully experience the kingdom of heaven right now. It sounds simple, but it's hard stuff, but it's powerful, and probably the most important thing you can do for yourself is to let go and let God. So blessings to you, everybody. Now, my favorite time, the kids are coming in. Let's welcome in with We Are Walking in the Light.
We are walking in the light, in the light, in the light. We are walking in the light of God. In the light, 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 in the light of God. We are walking in the joy, in the joy, in the joy. We are walking in the joy of God. In the joy, 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 in the joy of God.
All right, let's welcome kindergarten and grade 1 kids. Woo! So it's Easter season, so the kids are learning about Jesus and the whole process, the story of Easter. And the thing I love about Easter is that isn't it cool about the spring and everything coming to life? That's one thing I love about Easter. The whole Easter message is about new life and rebirth and bright colors and being fully alive. And all of you look so alive and so bright and full of colors. So we are so glad that you guys are here. So we want to do a little blessing. You guys ready to receive a blessing? It's coming right at you. Here you go. Ready? Okay, we love you. We love you. We bless you. We believe in you. And we celebrate the Spirit of God in you. All right. Thanks for being here, guys. The kids are going to lead us in our prayer of protection. So let's all rise now as we sing our song of peace.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me.
And now let's follow the kids' lead with the prayer protection. Kids?
That's so cute. The power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is.
Thanks, kids. Great job. God bless you. Have a great day and a wonderful week.